What's up, guys? Greg here. Today, running something a little bit different. Okay? We're running Rabies, okay? But let me tell you about one item that I want to talk about the most is these little boys right there. Senpai knew what he was doing with these arrows. Let me tell you that. I wasn't too much into them when they first came out last season, but all the team, they're all really well teamed. This one's rocking, the poison team. Some people were using it with an assassin with multi-shot. People are using these with Amazon for just the plus skills and the utility and stuff like that. But little Greg here, I saw the minus poison res and I saw the life after each kill on this. I'm like, that's Rabies written all over it, man. Written all over it. I'm looking at the website, the PD2 tools. I don't know if I can bring it up. I'll bring it up here. Oops. And I'm looking at this. I'm looking at PD2 tools. And I'm looking at Basilik's Quill, 0.5% use. And if we filter out the Druids, 0.2%, and it's just me. So no one's using this for Rabies. So yeah, I'm gonna try this out. Wonder how it could work, but it seemed to be fitting, for Rabies. Yeah, so let's start off. I will start off with the skill tree as usual. We'll get through this. We'll get through the stats. We'll get through the gear. We'll get through the merc. We'll get through the some of the mechanics, and we'll get through a cow map, which is the usual best map for Rabies. It's the best. It's just the best. Just the density and stuff like that. It just works really well with the cows. All right, enough of this. Rabies. We're looking at that level 47 Rabies with fully maxed synergy, which are Feral Rage, Lycanthropy, Poison Creeper, and for the flex, you could use like Poison Creeper as some damage on it. It has some synergy with the other vines, but I like the Oak Sage better because you're not running too much defenses on this build. In terms of PDR, you'll get moderately high defense. You'll get high resist, IPLR, or high curse resistance, and high life. So you're balancing out your defenses with high life. So using Oak Sage. So that's it for the skills. As for the stats, enough strength for your armor you're going to be wearing. Enough dex for the bow you're going to be wearing. The bow. And the rest in vitality. Alright. Let's go to the gear. So Basilik's Quill I mentioned. The useful stats on there is the minus poison res, the max poison res, the poison res, the life after each kill, and you get some gold fine. Why not? Kind of cool. Having a +1 slam on there would be nice, but I got a +2 sockets with some perfectly rolled, minus poison resistance. And the life roll, life slam, and 2 sockets. I put 2 random facets in there. They're not perfect, but they're close enough. As for the helmet, really hard to beat a Jalal. Jalal is like 0.75 for 3 sockets. Druid is super unpopular this season. So Jalal is really cheap and hard to beat because you need the resistance, you need, the strength is nice, the +4 skills, it's perfect helmet. I upped it to an elite base for more defenses because it has a little bit of defense on there, like 400, kind of nice. Could get a higher roll, a low roll on this one. I found Slam that boxed this Arcanes. You might have seen it in the last video. So yeah, put 2 perfect facets on there. Really nice. New thing this season, shape-shifting gloves. Really nice. Usually people were running Drax for life after each kill because you don't have, like, you need a source, you need more life after each kill for recovery with this build. But now, since we got these, we got +8 right there. Well, you kind of don't really need Drax, so you can kind of get +3 skills instead. So we're getting +3 skills and half freeze. We're using the boots for half skills, half freeze as well with some res. The faster, the best faster run walk you can get, and it's time for some MF. Why not? +2. We got +2 skills ring. You use BKs because you get some flat life on there. Pretty nice. Got some random resist slam to round out my defenses. And a Bloodcraft amulet. Could use a Mara's as well, but Bloodcraft gives you life after each kill as well. So this stat, you kind of need at least more than 10 for it to really show for. So we got +2 skills, faster run walk from the craft, and some res and all res, and life after each kill from the craft, basically. And we opted for Sigurd's. We could always use a Arachnid's Mesh, but Sigurd's, you see my 5,700. Well, we remove it. Well, we're down to 2,000. So this gives you a ton more armor. And since you don't have any PDR and you're getting hit a lot with this build, because Rabies stuff dies over time, doesn't die instantly. So not being hit by all the monsters at once is gonna do you some good for sure. So I sacrifice 1+1 skill for insane defense value, because with the Defiant Smirk, I'm up to 8,000. Remove this, it's 5,000. So you doubled your defense with this armor, this belt. Some more. Oh yeah, and the weapon. Obviously the weapon. So I found that I was looking through all the bows and all the crafts and all the uniques and the rune words, and Plague caught my eye because of the cleansing aura plus all skills and minus poison resistance, which is all the good stuff basically from this, and from running maps with Plague, 30% to cast level 35 lower res when struck. It kind of works because you're getting hit a shit ton with this build, and 30% is an high number. 1 hit out of 3 is gonna proc that, so kind of cool. You get some Poison Nova fireworks too, kind of nice. So using Plague, really cool. So all that amounts to 33,000 Rabies damage. Gonna go through a little bit more of the gear options. So before I add the Arcane, I add a Stone Armor for eye defense plus skills, fast rate recovery, and some res. Really cheap. The base is usually more expensive than the friggin' runes in there, so Stone was really nice. You can see the defense gonna go up for sure from a Stone. If you'd want even more after each kill, you could use Drax, like I said. I was using these gloves before because it had +2 freeze and some res as well. The attack speed doesn't matter all that much because from shape shifting, most of the IAS comes from the weapon itself. So having the weapon in a crappy but fast bow, like the Hunter's bow or the double bow, are the best base for that. So you're gonna just attack a little bit faster with the bite, the Rabies bite. Yeah, so we talked about this, and I had this at first when I started crafting this build. I was like, you can get +1 skill from a bow, and you could get 6 sockets. 6 sockets is 6 facets, so that's a lot of damage. So we got a bountiful yeah, so Yeah, so a bountiful craft with plus skills. It is guaranteed. You get the MF. And the role you're going to be looking for basically is attack speed. Because you're going to be having a little bit of a faster animation. So I got 20% attack speed on there. Hello, Migo. So, and you're going to be sticking like 6 facets in there. So that's tons of damage. They're not perfect in there, but they're kind of nice. So if we switch from the plague to this bow, we're at 38,000 versus 33,000. So that's a big difference in damage. But the utility and stuff like that, the lower res, it just feels better when I ran with plague. I don't know why. It just felt a little bit better. Thing with poison with rabies, it's kind of a unique skill. Stuff doesn't die instantly. It needs time to spread a little bit. So having stuff die instantly, there's less chance it spreads. So having stuff die a little bit slower kind of helps for your clear. It's kind of doesn't make sense, but it does. Shout out to Mr. Skeleton King for his last one of his last video about poison, enemy poison resistance. He was doing tests on the Necro to see the effect of minus poison resistance on monsters PLR, and basically I'll link the video, but basically what he mentions is that the more poison resist you have, the less PLR, poison length reduction, the monster have. So the monsters takes the poison expires slower when you have more penetration. So shout out to him for his little study. If you want to see, I'll link the video. So we got a lot of you know, poison minus poison res with the quills and the plague and all the facets. Yeah. Yeah, so that's this sheet. I think you see most of the important stuff. You see the life after each kill, 14. And then we see our resistances. Do we see the PLR? We see the elemental piece at 79. A little bit of mastery. And we got sorry about this. You get the hit recovery right there. The frames that we don't see the FHR frames, it's at 63. You don't see because of my face, but it's at 63. The threshold. And yeah, that's it. That's it for the stats. The Merc Conviction doesn't work on poison damage. It took me a long time to notice that. For some reason I was not running poison builds at all, so I always thought Infinity was working on poison, but it doesn't, just fire, cold, and lightning. So I wanted the Defiance Aura from the Act 2 Merc to increase my defense. So we went with that, and we're using Stormspire with an Innocence to proc the Static Field, which is a percentage base damage. It's gonna help, you know, get the monster to die quicker. And you get the nice Defiance Aura, which basically doubles your defense, give you a little bit of PDR. That's just a little bit. So you get Vamp Gaze for life and so for Leech and PDR. Get Drax for Leech. You get life and PDR belt, and you know, cannot be frozen boots. So that's the logic for the Merc. A lot of Rabies player are using Act 1 with Vigor. I felt like having a fully, you know, charge Feral Rage was enough movement speed for it to feel comfortable. You just stack it up, you run pretty fast, and you don't need to run astronomically fast because you're not a Whirlwind Barb. You're just going to one-tap everything, and everything dies instantly. You just hit, you wait a little bit for stuff to die and spread, you move on, stuff like that. So it's a bit of a different playstyle. So having, you know, no Vigor, if you got Feral Rage, feels pretty good. So you don't need the Act 1 Vigor. You increase your defense a little bit more with the Act 2 Merc. You could also use a Act 3 Mercenary with Exile Shield for Defiance with Holy Shock from him casting Holy Shock, get the same effect, but since you're running around all the time, the Merc is mostly just running. It doesn't have too much time to stand around and attack. So I felt like the Act 3 Merc was the best for my purposes. Swap! I'm using any 2-handed weapon with IAIS to charge up my Feral Rage. And that doesn't require a ton of, dex or strength. So I don't have to invest a little bit more. So I had this Odium lying around. So this is just there to charge up my Feral Rage at the start of the map. And if I need a little bit of Leech or something like that, I can maybe switch out sometimes to the Feral Rage. Just to leech some. So that's the movement speed with fully charged, Feral Rage. So it's plenty, usually just hit like that, wait a little bit for stuff to die, then move on to the next pack. That's it. So we'll be running a Blood Moon map, which is the best for this build. The higher density, the better. Other maps I ran, all the T1s that don't have poison immunes, all the T2s that don't have poison immune, the T3s that are not Blood Moon, you're kind of, it's a little bit less comfortable on the damage. Stuff takes a little bit longer to die, and sometimes none I don't want Rabies it. So I stuck with tier 1s and T2s and Blood Moons, and did perfectly fine. It was a lot of fun. Just to theory craft, test stuff out. And it's just a different gameplay with Rabies. It's nothing compares really. You just hit, wait, move, hit, wait, move. Bit annoying when you have to loot because sometimes all the loot's at the back. So let's try this out. So when I swap, I know when I'm swapped, I see my Feral Rage on my left click, on my right click. So I just charge up a little bit. And then we hit it. So hit. So what matters with Rabies, whatever you're talking, your sheet damages, and if you do damage enough, whatever, if everything dies in one bite, you're doing okay. You don't need more damage. So, as you can see, oops, sometimes I have a hard time hitting them. And don't forget to refresh your Feral Rage once in a while. So trying to group them up. And as you can see, the lower res is kind of there a lot of the time because you're getting it. And 30% is quite a big number in comparison to other stuff. Oops, I dropped my Feral Rage, stack it back up. So, if I just run back a little bit, it's a pretty clean skill, not much survives. If I just go back just to see if I really killed everything with one hit, as well as looting some stuff, pretty much everything dies, which is kind of cool. Nope, some of them didn't. Oh, need to charge back my stupid Feral Rage. One thing that I would like is Feral Rage could last a minute, would be nice for this kind of build. Don't have to refresh, always be thinking about it. And if you can figure out your resistances and want some a little bit more movement speed, in the same vein as the lower res proccing when struck, you could get Infernal Stride and proc some Blaze onto you quite reliably for sure. If you could figure out the cannot be frozen situation with something else, you could be blazing around with you know, blaze procs all the time. So yeah, it's no secret that Rabies is good with cows. This is just to show you that, you know, sheet damage is not always everything. There's other factors at play. Your defenses, your comfort, you know, the utility all the other item brings. Like the need for more damage, like I said, if you hit a pack once and it dies, why do you really need more damage? You're just gonna kill them, you know, slightly faster. As you can see, the life after each kill is doing quite good. I'm not using that many potion. I'm not always, like, you know, topped off, but as you can see, when a pack dies, your life is going up really quickly. Nope. Got greedy there. No, I have to come back and loot everything in this map. I just wanted to showcase. I just showcase the boss, like I said earlier. Just it. Then I swap out to Feral Rage. Hit again. Swap out to Feral Rage. It's not the fastest, you know, obviously the fastest boss killer, but it's not that bad. Here we go. It's alright, that's it, guys. That's the build right there. A little bit different. I'm so happy it worked out. I'm so happy these new quiver exists. We saw that Fire Druid in the one of the showcase using, you know, the crossbow that no one uses with the +2 bolts that, you know, are just there as a nice offhand, you know. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a good season 13. Please like and subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.